Welcome back to a new episode of Thrifting Tiger. Today we're going to go over the $5 challenge update for March of 2024. I want to give a shout out to Shagan. I'm a Resell It on YouTube. He sent me this package all the way from Thailand. It's been here for about a month or two. He said I can't open it until I hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. We're just over 600 now at this point of recording. So if you're new here and you enjoy thrifting content, I just ask to hit the subscribe button. It's free of charge and costs nothing to you. Let's try and hit 1,000 subscribers so I can open up this package and see what's inside. Thanks again to Shagan for sending me this package. Hopefully we get to 1,000 subs shortly. We ended up with $222.15 in our budget at the end of February. Let's take a look at how well we did for the month of March. So if you guys are new to my channel, my name is Gary, also known as Thrifting Tiger. Started this challenge back in November with $5 to spend on whatever to try and build a budget up to $1,000 in profit. First item that I ever sold for the challenge was this Black Rifle Coffee Company hat. Paid $4.49 for this hat at a Savers, I believe. And I believe we sold this for $25, and that's when things got started. Since then, we've been building our budget for the last couple of months, and like I mentioned, at the end of February, we had $222 to spend. So with this, I headed out to the Unique store as well as a Goodwill on March 3rd. So at the Unique store, we ended up buying 3 items there, spent a total of $39.12. Ended up buying a Untuck It shirt. This one was actually new with tags, paid $6.64 for this. It was a blue button up. I think it was button up or button down. Also bought a pair of Duluth Trading Company cargo pants, brown ones. These were priced at $7.99. I don't normally pick up a whole lot of Duluth, but it was cheap enough where I thought I could maybe make some money on. And then I also bought a Smart Wool base layer long sleeve shirt. Paid $24.49 for this. Definitely paid up for it. However, it was new with tags. I think roughly this goes for about $70. Not the best time to sell this stuff since it is warming up and this is more of a fall and winter item. But I still think it's worth it for $24. New with tags, Smart Wool. Great brand to look out for. Definitely keep an eye out for these in the wild. After the Unique store, ended up going to a Goodwill and ended up buying this Masters 1934 collection. Paid $11 for this. I've mentioned this polo shirt before in a previous video. It already sold to for $149.95 at the end of March. I'll go over more details on that later. Definitely a great sale there and definitely a big pickup. After buying all these items, we ended up with $172.03 left in our budget. After this, I didn't source for a few days. However, we did get some sales that came in. Starting on March 4th, we ended up selling a pair of Mugsy pants. I bought these pants back in January for $8.99, and these ended up selling for $26 plus shipping. After fees and everything, we ended up getting back $25.72, bringing our budget up to $197.15. Following day on March 5th, ended up selling that Vineyard Vines Jim Nance pullover quarter zip. Bought this back in February at Savers for $7.87, and it sold for $35 plus shipping. After fees and everything, we got back $34.65 in our budget, putting our new budget total to $232.40. On March 6th, we ended up selling 3 items that day. Sold the Cycle Bunny polo shirt, Ariat M5 jeans, and the Johnny O camo pullover quarter zip. The Cycle Bunny polo shirt was this green one. I picked it up at Goodwill back in February. Bought it for $6.99 and it sold for $27.50. The Ariat M5 jeans, I bought those at the Salvation Army for $10.99 back in February as well. This one sold for $39.95. And the Johnny O quarter zip, I bought also at the Savers, the same time I bought that Vineyard Vines Jim Nance pullover. Also paid $7.87 for that back in February. And this one sold for $43 plus shipping. After fees and everything, our budget is now up to $334.63. On March 7th, we ended up going to the Unique store and ended up buying 3 items there. First item was this Bellstaff camo, like Sherpa hoodie. Bellstaff is a really high-end kind of brand. Rarely find these in the wild. They make a lot of different items as far as apparel goes. Mostly know them for like their jackets. They make some really high quality jackets. Some of the jackets can retail for over $1,000. So I've never found them in the wild. Only paid $13.87 for this after the discount. But I definitely think it was a great pickup at that time. Also, we picked up a Derma wand. I've never actually bought one of these before. I guess it's for like removing spots on your face or something like that. Only paid $4.85 for this. I think the majority of these were selling as new or pre-owned, but you can only list them as new on eBay. Probably looking at about $50. $40 to $50 is what I saw as for comp goes. And then also picked up a pair of On Clouds for $8.09. Pretty good find there. Usually On Clouds can get you around $35 to $40 at least. Ended up paying $26.81 at the Unique store, but we also had a couple sales that day as well. Ended up selling that Ariat / Pendleton collaboration, like Aztec blue hoodie. It was a women's, I think size medium or large. Bought this back in February for $8.39 and ended up selling for $25 plus shipping. After fees, we got back $24.84 on this. And then we also sold that Untucked button-up shirt pretty quickly that I just mentioned earlier, the blue one that was new with tags. As I mentioned, we paid $6.64 for that and sold for $39.95. After fees and everything, we ended up getting back $35.98 back in our budget. With the two sales and the purchases that we just made at the Unique store, we now have a new budget of $368.64. Moving along to the next few days, we actually didn't end up selling a whole lot as far as the $5 challenge goes, but we did go sourcing the next couple of days. On March 8th, we ended up going to a Goodwill. Ended up buying 3 items there. A pair of Gerbeau pants. I've actually never found these in the wild. Or Gerbeau jeans. Vintage Gerbeau actually sells pretty decently. Ended up buying these jeans for $12.99. Also picked up 2 pairs of Allen Edmonds. It was a pair of brown ones as well as a pair of black ones. Both of these were $14.99 each. I ended up picking these up because it did have a wide width on these. It was a size 11 triple E, which is like extra wide. I ended up spending $42.97 at the Goodwill, bringing our new budget to $325.67. On March 9th, we ended up going to the local Chap thrift store as well as a Salvation Army. At the Chap store, we only bought one item there, these Lucchese boots. Only paid $12.60 for this. Lucchese is a great brand to keep an eye out for. I've found maybe like 3 or 4 of them in the past, and they've all sold for really good money, over $100 each pair. Definitely a brand to keep an eye out for in the wild. And then after the Chap store, we ended up going to the Salvation Army. Ended up buying a whole bunch of stuff here actually. They were having a 50% off clothing and shoes sale when I was there. So I ended up buying 7 items at the Salvation Army, all clothing items. First one was this Fox Racing hoodie. I believe it was actually a women's hoodie. Paid $5.49 for this. Also bought a pair of Adidas blue like golf shorts. Normally I don't pick up a whole lot of Adidas, but since it was half off, I only paid $3.99 for it. I'm probably looking for maybe about $15. I've mentioned it in the past, Adidas is super flooded as far as golf apparel goes on eBay. Well, actually just in general, Adidas and Nike are pretty flooded on eBay. I wouldn't suggest picking these up unless you can get them for super cheap and you don't mind getting like $10 for it. Just something to keep in mind for. Also ended up finding a pair of Allen Edmonds Sanford shoes here. Now these were not in the best shape, so it might be tough to sell. Maybe it was a bad pickup. Paid $7.49 for it though. Also found a pair of Ariat M4 jeans. These were also $7.49. I think we'll probably get like 25 to 30 I think on these. Ariats do sell pretty decently on eBay. However, the value has definitely dropped. And then I found a new brand that I've never actually found before. They're called like Incotex or something like that. They're like known for their wool stuff. Found these wool pants for only $2.99 and they actually sell for pretty decently. Saw some comps go for about $50 actually. It's probably not the best time to sell these, but for only $3 I figured I had to pick those up for sure. Also picked up a pair of Saucony running shoes. Again, I don't normally pick up Saucony shoes, but since it was half off and I only paid $4.99 for it, I figured I'd give it a shot. Might look for like $20 maybe. Still be worth it for only $5. And then the last item was this Task pullover shirt. I think it was gray, quarter zip. Paid $3.99 for this. Probably looking at about maybe $20. Again, probably not the best time to sell it since it is springtime, summertime. This will do a lot better in the fall though. Ended up spending $36.43 at the Salvation Army, plus the $12.60 that we spent at the Chap thrift store, bringing our new budget to $276.64. Okay, moving along to week number 2 here of March. Starting things off on March 10th, we ended up going to Savers with this new budget. Ended up only buying one item there. It was this Panasonic like landline phone. It was actually an extra one for, I think, the set. Bought it for $6.47. It was actually new in the packaging. The box was open though, however, everything inside still was new. I think I saw comps going for about $30 to $40. With this, our budget came down to $270.17. Then I didn't go sourcing for a couple days, however, I did get one sale the following day on March 11th. Ended up selling the other Psycho Bunny polo shirt, the blue one that we picked up from Goodwill back in February. Again, paid $6.99 for this at the Goodwill, and it sold for $34.95. After fees and everything, we got $32.44 back in our budget, bringing our total to $302.61. On March 14th, we went on a spending spree that day. Ended up going to 4 different thrift stores that day. Ended up buying stuff from every single thrift store. Ended up going to a Goodwill, a Salvation Army, a Unique Store, as well as a Savers. Starting things off with the Goodwill, ended up only buying one item from this one, but it was a pretty decent one. They were these Best Made Company pants. I've actually never heard of this brand before. I guess it's like New York based or something like that. They were just these like tan pants. Paid $7 for them. I saw some decent comps for it for like $40, $45. So figured I'd give it a shot for $7. Sell-through rate was pretty decent on that. We also went to the Salvation Army, ended up buying 6 items. Ended up buying 2 pairs of UFO slip-ons. One of them was actually the sandal, and then the other one was actually like a clog. UFOs is a great brand to look out for. They sell really quickly and for a decent amount, as long as you get them for cheap enough. They're like these recovery sandals. A lot of people wear them, a lot of people use them. I only paid $5.99 per pair. Unfortunately, one of the sandals actually had a tear in it on the side. I did not realize that when I picked it up. And for some reason, they actually like cut the middle connection point on the sandals themselves. Maybe they just didn't like how it felt on there. They needed more space or something like that. I don't know. I didn't realize it until I got home already, so I figured I'd just keep them. I'll still probably try and sell them because people will still wear them. They're still in good shape as far as the treading goes. It's just the uppers have this minor tear. Maybe I'll try and glue it or something like that. But yeah, $5.99 a piece on those, both UFOs. Typically they go for probably about $25 to $30. The clogs are actually in pretty good shape, so I'm probably gonna be looking for about $30 on those. Also found a pair of Skechers there, and they're these Y2K like jammers sandals. These are actually really popular right now and in high demand. Definitely keep an eye out for this type of style of the Y2K sandals. I've mentioned in the past too about Doc Martens, the same kind of style, but the Skechers ones also sell pretty decently. I don't pick up a whole lot of Skechers shoes, but if I find these in the wild, definitely will pick those up. This pair paid $9.99 for it. Probably looking about maybe $40 to $50 on these actually, so pretty good find there. Also found this deerskin, the brand deerskin, like button-up shirt. It's like a vintage one made in USA. I don't know, it looked kind of cool. It was like this camo print, but it was like a map kind of style on it. You guys can see it. I'll show you guys in the footage. I didn't really see a whole lot of comps on this. Paid $7.99 for it. Maybe looking about $30, $35 for it. Also picked up this cool Jaws Jemmy singing thing, similar to those Billy Bass ones that you guys see in the wild all the time. I just thought it was cool because it was Jaws and not the actual bass fish. Ended up paying up for this though. I paid $8.63 for this. I did test this and it does work, so maybe looking about $20, $25 on it. And then a pretty good find was actually this Wusthof under cabinet knife block. Wusthof is a great knife brand to look out for. They actually retail for a lot of money. Resale value, probably not as much, but they still sell. And this particular knife block actually did really well. I only saw a couple comps on this that were actually new. So I figured pre-owned, maybe I can get like $50, $60 on it. Only paid $5.40 on this, so pretty good find there. Ended up spending $43.99 in total at the Salvation Army. Next up is a Savers, and I also picked up 6 items from this store as well. Ended up buying 5 pairs of shoes and 1 polo shirt. 4 of the 5 shoes were all Hoka's. They're all in the women's section, all Hoka's. 3 of them were Bondi 7 shoes. It's like they just donated their whole Hoka collection. They actually still had plenty of tread left on the bottoms of these. There was some wear on the heel though on a couple of the shoes, and they were all priced differently, and they were all about the same size. I think it was size 8 or 7.5. They were all different colors. One of them was like this grayish pink color, one was another grayish blue color, and then we also picked up the Challenger Challenger ones. Those were the brown color ones. For the pink ones, I paid $5.62. The blue and gray ones paid $4.34. This was probably the one that was in the most rough shape. And then, of course, the one that was in the best shape, I paid $11.24 for it. And then the Challenger ones, I paid $5.62 for it. So really good deals on all of these Hokas. Probably going to be looking for about at least $30, $25 to $30 at least a pair. And then also picked up a pair of Kizik shoes. I've actually never found Kiziks in the wild until today. They do decently. I think they typically sell for about $30, $35. And I bought these for also $5.62. So some pretty cheap shoes actually, and pretty good shoes for cheap. And I also found a Lululemon polo shirt for $6.59. So pretty good find there. This shirt probably goes for about $25 to $30. Lululemon stuff has definitely dropped off, but I still pick them up because they still sell pretty decently as far as sell-through rate goes. But if you're looking for top dollar on Lululemon, it's definitely dropped off for sure. Still a good pickup for $6.59. Ended up paying $39.03 at the Savers. And then the last store that we also went to was the Unique store. Ended up buying 4 items for a total of $38.59. First item was this 5 finger shoes, Vibram like water shoes. They have the individual toes in the shoes. I've actually never found a pair of these in the wild, but they actually do sell really decently. Paid $10.12 for this. I think it probably goes for about $35, maybe even $40 on it. The sell-through rate is crazy on these shoes. Also found a Sims puffer vest. Sims is like a fishing apparel brand. Paid $8.99 for this. Found this very unique Linus Tech Tips hoodie. Kind of paid up for this, $14.24 on this, but if you guys don't know, Linus Tech Tips is a YouTuber, and I found one of his apparel in the wild. I know some of these YouTubers have their hoodies super expensive on their websites. I think this probably goes for like $80 on their website, $80, $90. I'll probably be looking for about $40 maybe. And the last item was this Penn State vintage crew neck. It was made in USA. Only paid $5.24 on this thing. Pretty sweet one. Probably not the best time to sell it again. Most of the stuff is going to be better in the fall time. But for only $5.24, I figured maybe we can get like $30 for it at least. $30, $35. And I'm spending $38.59 at the Unique store. So after the spending spree, our new budget is now at $174 flat. So after sourcing a bunch this day, ended up taking a break from sourcing for a few days at least, since our budget came back down to $174. However, we did get a sale on March 15th. Ended up selling those Philips Sonicare toothbrush replacement heads. Bought these back in February at the Goodwill for $7.50. Ended up selling for $35 plus shipping. After fees, we were able to get back $30.06. With that Philips Sonicare toothbrush sale, we ended up getting our budget back up to $204.06. And then there were actually a couple days where nothing actually happened. No sales, didn't go sourcing. We're on to week 3 of March now. On March 19th, we ended up selling those Gerbeau jeans. Bought those earlier in the month for $12.99. Ended up selling those for $49.95 plus shipping. After fees and everything, we were able to get back $46.72. With that, our new budget is now at $250.78. But we still have a budget, so what did I do? I ended up going buying more stuff. On March 20th, I ended up going to 2 thrift stores that day. Went to the Chap thrift store as well as the Unique store. Ended up buying 2 items at the Chap thrift store. Bought this Rebecca Minkoff like backpack purse. It looked like it was in decent shape, but only paid $4.50 for this, and I saw some comps go for about $40 to $50 on this, so figured I'd give it a shot. And I also ended up buying a whole golf set of women's Wilson like breast cancer awareness hope golf clubs plus bag. Paid $22.75 for this thing. Saw some comps go for about $150 on this entire set, so I couldn't leave those behind. I hate picking up big items, but I might try and sell those locally, actually, maybe through Facebook Marketplace. But for only $22.75 for it, I had to get those. Even if I have to ship them, I do have a box big enough to fit the entire set. Probably looking about $150 on those. And I'm spending $27.25 at the Chap thrift store. And then we also went to the Unique store, bought 3 items there. Bought this Levi's orange tab vintage, like 1980s pair of jeans. I don't pick up a whole lot of Levi's, but I saw it was orange tab and I saw it was vintage. Figured I'd give a shot on those. Only paid $6.79 for it. Also picked up a pair of Lululemon men's gray sweat shorts. Paid $6.39 for it. Probably goes for about 30 as well, 25 to 30. And then first time finding this brand, Todd Snyder Jeans. Apparently it's a great brand to look out for. Only paid $11.04 for this, probably looking at about $50, maybe even $60 on these jeans. I saw some even go higher. And I'm spending $24.22 at the Unique store. On this day, we also did get a sale. I ended up selling this Polo Ralph Lauren floral polo shirt. Bought this back in February at the Goodwill, I believe, and it was only $10.99. Sold it for $39.95. After the 2 thrift stores as well as the sale of the polo shirt, our new budget is now $235.96. Following day, ended up going to do some more sourcing on March 21st. And I'm going to a Goodwill and a Savers that day. This was a Thursday, so I typically go to Savers on Thursdays just because I get that 25% discount for being a reward member. At the Goodwill, bought a pair of denim and supply jeans. Nothing too crazy. I think these go for about $25 to $30 as well. Paid $7 for this. And I also bought these Nike Air Maxes. They're a pretty big size 14, but I saw some pretty decent comps on this. Ended up paying $15 for this. $22 in total at the Goodwill. And then at the Savers, ended up buying 5 items there. Got these cool green pants. Paid $5.99 for it. I love picking up the brand Cool. Typically their pants go for about $25, $30, sometimes $35 as well. Also picked up this Peter Millar quarter zip pullover. It's a white one. Only paid $7.87 for these. These actually sell really nicely, especially at this time. Golf season is pretty much here. And these typically sell for about $35 to maybe even $40. Speaking of Peter Millar, also picked up a pair of blue pants. These don't do as well as those quarter zips, but only paid $4.87 for this. Probably looking at about $25 to $30. Also found these Polo Ralph Lauren or Polo Sport joggers. They're like these gray joggers. I figured I'd give a shot on this. I don't know. Paid $7.72 only for this. Probably gonna be looking at the same price, $25 to $30. And then I also picked up a pair of eyeglasses. With these, I only sell the frames only, and these actually had some really thick lenses in them. But the frames are pretty cool. It's by the brand Salt. I've actually never heard of them before. These are handcrafted in Japan. This model is called the Lynette. I think they're pretty cool. Like this blue frame. I actually ended up popping the lenses out. I actually do have the lenses here, but look at this thing. This thing is super thick. This is like at the thickest point, it's at least 1 centimeter thick on these lenses. So I don't know what to do with these. I just popped them up. I listed these frames only. This is what I usually do, is list them frames only so people can put their own prescription in them. Or they can wear them just like this, I guess, with no lenses. I think they look pretty cool. What do you guys think? Leave a comment below. Anyways, only paid $2.49 for these. So at Savers, I ended up spending $28.87 for this, which brings our new budget down to $185.09. Moving along to March 22nd, ended up going to a Goodwill this day. Ended up buying 6 items at the Goodwill, so pretty decent haul actually. Don't normally pick up a whole lot of items when I go to the Goodwills, but this particular day, I ended up buying a lot of clothing again. First item was this Omron like pain reliever thing. It was new in the packaging, still sealed. Paid $9.72 for this. Saw this consistently sell for about $30 to $35, sometimes even $40, brand new. So for $9.72, I'd give a shot at it since it was new in the packaging and still sealed. Also picked up 2 pairs of these pants. They feel like golf pants. They're like the more performance style. They're by the company called Bluffworks. I've actually never heard of them before, but I saw them sell pretty consistently for about $40 to $50 on these pants. Ended up paying $8.99 a piece. Also found a pair of On Clouds. They're called the Roger. I think it's based off of Roger Federer, the tennis player. Only paid $12.99 for this. Probably looking about $50 to $60. They are a larger size. I think it's a men's size 13 if I remember correctly. And then I ended up picking up 2 cool items. One was this quarter zip. It was like a blue one, long sleeve, kind of like a base layer-ish. Paid $8.99 for it. Probably looking about $35, maybe even $40 for it. Again, probably not the best time to sell it. More of a fall item. And then also picked up a pair of tan hiking pants. Also paid $8.99 for this one. This one will probably sell for about $30 maybe. A lot of the cool pants will sell for about $30. So yeah, ended up spending $58.67. Also on this day, we ended up selling those Danner boots that we bought back in February. Bought these at the Salvation Army for $14.99. And these ended up selling for $65 plus shipping. And with these, they didn't even have laces in them. So pretty good sale there for $65. After the fees and everything, we ended up getting back $62.91. So with that sale and the Goodwill purchase, we now have a new budget of $189.33. Moving along to the following week, which was the last week of March. On March 24th, we ended up selling this polo, like rugby, like sweatshirt. It was pretty sweet, actually. Multicolor one, very retro looking, but however, it wasn't vintage. Bought this back in February at Savers, paid $6.37 for it, and sold it for $63 plus shipping. So after fees and everything, we got back $57.97, bringing our budget back up to $247.30. On March 25th, we ended up selling the Hoka slides. Also bought these in February, earlier in the month. Paid $10.39 for these at the Savers. Ended up selling these for $34.95 plus shipping. After fees, we got $32.43 back, bringing our budget back up to $279.73. And then on March 26th, we actually ended up selling that Panasonic landline phone that I mentioned earlier. Paid $6.47 for that at the Savers. Ended up selling it for $34 plus shipping. So definitely don't overlook these landline phones. I would suggest only picking them out if they're new. After fees, we got $32.03, bringing our budget up to $311.76. With this new budget, we ended up going sourcing, of course. Ended up going to Savers on March 28th. But we did end up buying 4 items at the Savers on this day. Ended up finding these a pair of Adidas. I guess it was a collaboration with some artist named Chris Andrews or something like that. I don't really know. They were like these track pants. Paid $7.72 for it. Very colorful, very unique print. Also found a pair of Lululemon joggers, men's joggers, size 2XL. Only paid $5.99 for these, so great find there. I think typically joggers go for about $35, maybe even $40 sometimes. Also found this North Face Denali jacket, also men's. This was like a black one. If you guys don't know Denali, it's a very well-known pattern. It's a fleece jacket. Paid $12.74 for this. I'm probably looking about $40, maybe even $50 on this jacket. Probably not the best time to sell it, but these jackets are very popular for North Face. It's probably one of their most popular lines as far as fleece goes. Found a pair of On Cloud running shoes. Paid $14.99 for this. It was priced at $20, so I did get that 25% discount. Kind of priced up on that, but I think these should still sell for about $40, maybe even $45. So we ended up spending $41.44 at the Savers, bringing our new budget down to $270.32. All right, we got a couple more days left in the month. This is going to be a long video. Hopefully you guys are still sticking with me on this. But on March 29th, we ended up going sourcing again, and we did get one sale as well on the same day. Ended up going to the Salvation Army as well as the Unique store on this day. Only bought one item at the Salvation Army, but they were these pair of Grayson golf pants. Grayson is a great golf brand to look out for. I mentioned it in my golf polo shirt video. If you can find like their pullover jackets, full zip jackets, pants, they actually go for really good money, much more than their polo shirts. Only paid $7.99 for this pair of pants, and I think probably can get at least $50 to $60 on these. At the Unique store, we ended up buying 4 items there. First item was this Arizona Diamondbacks jersey. However, it wasn't like a Majestic or Nike jersey. It was actually like some sort of promotional giveaway for some casino, I think, in Arizona. And surprisingly, these still sell for a decent amount. Ended up buying it for $7.79. And I saw some comps go for about $25, $30 still. Diamondbacks were in the World Series last year, so they are a popular team. A lot of eyes have been on them lately. Don't mind picking this up for $7.79. Hopefully you can get $30, maybe even $35. Ended up finding a pair of cool shorts. Now, I don't think their shorts do as well as their pants. I don't know. I couldn't leave it behind. I paid $6.17 for this. The unfortunate thing is that when I got home and looked at the pants, there was a stain on the side pocket that I did not realize. But I think maybe you can get 20 bucks for it. I don't know, 15 bucks. We'll see on that. Maybe it was a bad buy. Next item is this Kuiu long sleeve t-shirt. Kuiu is actually a really good brand to look out for. It's like a hunting brand, hunting apparel brand. I've sold one of their regular t-shirts before. This was a long sleeve one, nice green color. Only paid $5.69 for it. Maybe you can get $30, $35, sometimes even $40 for something like this. Sell-through rate's pretty good on this too, so definitely a brand to keep an eye out for. Kuiu. The YouTuber Resell with Chels actually told me how to pronounce this. It's pronounced Kuiu. I always thought it was like Kuiu, but she corrected me. She knew how to pronounce it. It's pronounced Kuiu. But yeah, great brand to look out for. And I also picked up a Roan polo shirt. Now, I don't pick up a whole lot of Roan stuff. I only paid $2.69 for this, so I figured I'd give a shot on it. Even if I get 10 bucks for it, I would still be making money. Plus, golf season's here. hopefully somebody will be looking for a Roan polo shirt. And I was paying $22.34 only at the Unique store. Now, I did mention that we also had a sale here, and at the beginning of the video I mentioned the Masters 1934 collection polo shirt. It did sell on this day for $149.95. If you guys ever find this in the wild, definitely pick it up. It's one of the polo shirts that's only sold at the clubhouse in Augusta, Georgia at the Masters. These retail for like $300 to $400, and typically resale value you can get at least $100 for these. After fees and everything, we got $130.24. After our sourcing trip and the Masters sale, our new budget is now $370.23. We had one more sale to round up the month on March 31st. We ended up selling one of those Hoka shoes that I mentioned earlier, where we bought them at the Savers when I bought those 4 Hokas. This was the one that was priced at $5.62, and it sold for $49.95. After fees, we got $46.93 to give us a new grand total in our $5 challenge budget of $417.16. So we increased almost $200 since the end of February into our $5 challenge budget, which will of course lead us to more sales, more buying for the month of April. Thanks everybody for sticking with me on this super long video, but I appreciate all of you guys watching this long into this $5 challenge. We've definitely increased our budget a lot since we started, and we are getting closer and closer to our $1,000 profit mark. Hopefully we can hit it in April. Thanks everybody for watching, and again, if you want to see me open this package that Shagan sent me, let's try and hit 1,000 subscribers. Hit that subscribe button down below. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you hit the like button and hit that notification bell so you get notified when my next video comes out. But thanks everybody for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!